This training for tonight is on lecturing, memorizing, and testing as a form of training for children or adults. Sounds kind of schooly, doesn't it? And we've all been there, done that, where we've had a lecture, we've had to memorize, and then there's a test. Not sure it's always the best way. I'm not sure that it's the most effective, but it does happen and we tend to fall into that. I think as a parent, we need to remember that less is more. Focus on what you want a child to know and go with that rather than word after word. A young adult will tend to tune out if it's too wordy, if you expect too much. I also think though, as a parent, sometimes that's what you want them to know. There's some key elements that you want a child to know. At the preschool, I try to focus everything in being safe and being kind. And so they know those words, those are memorized really. And I ask kids, was that safe? Was that kind? As kind of the test. But I don't know that it's always the most effective, but you have to know your child and know the circumstance and know what works best for your kiddo.
Lecture and memorization, there are a couple more tools that I want to highlight, and those are music, humor, story, and repetition. They can make it easier to make memorization happen. An example of this is when our children were younger. We had all girls, we had friends who had all girls, and we went camping, and David needed to make sure that everyone was safe at the campsite, so he had a list of several rules, at the end of which he tacked on the phrase, "So we don't have to pack out your carcass," and would have the girls all say that at the end of each of the rules so that they could remember why they needed to follow them. And I'll tell you what, even the girls by the end of the week were grinning when they would have to say, "So we don't have to pack out your carcass," at the end of each of those rules. So again, humor, music, repetition, and story can help with memorization.
The thing that instantly went through my brain as Jane was talking was the multiplication tables. I mean, you can't experientially learn them, you can't apprenticely learn them, you just have to do the hard work of memorizing them. And there are lots of things in life like that. And brain research proves that the brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. You can exercise it. You can build your memory and your brain power by memorizing. Scripture also indicates the importance of memory work. Psalm 119:11, "Thy word have I hid in my heart, that I might not sin against thee." And James chapter 1, right around verse 21, "Receive the word implanted, which is able to save your souls." Yes, memory work is vital. So here are a couple tips for memorizing. It is easier to memorize when you are moving than when you are sitting. So yes, it is easier to memorize something if you're walking than when you're sitting down. Also, the first 10 minutes after waking and the last 10 minutes before you go to sleep at night are the easiest times of the day to put things into your long-term memory. Don't ask me why, it's just that way. Have a fun time memorizing.